Aspect ratio is, in technical terms, the ratio of the width to the height of the screen. It is the area where the film happens, and to most, it goes unnoticed. This is because nearly all movies that are produced today are in 1.851, the widescreen standard in cinemas. But this wasn't always the case. This has really only developed in the 21st century, with the 20th century having the aspect ratio 4:3. Again, modern televisions and digital videos are different again, all adopting a 16:9 format, the format this very video was made in. So, this leads on to the question, how does aspect ratio tell a story? Well, I just moved the aspect ratio from 16:9 to 4:3. Did you notice? Of course you did. It's a very restricting thing to have limitations put on a format that you've become accustomed to, i.e. 16:9. Any director has a challenge when making a movie, which is, can I tell a story through this frame? As Martin Scorsese says, cinema is a matter of what's in the frame and what's out. This is really what aspect ratio is all about. It's about restricting the frame, and directors who really play with the frame itself have a reason for this. So the first question to ask, how can a story be told by restricting the frame? To answer this, I turn to Son of Saul. This 2015 Hungarian film was shot in an aspect ratio of 1:37, an almost square frame. The frame was small and incredibly restricted, and, as some critics remarked, claustrophobic. So how did this help tell the story? The film is a Holocaust drama centered around a specific character, Saul. The director, Laszlo Nemes, explained his purpose for this was to visually center on Saul and not the surroundings, limiting us so that what is left out of view is implied and imagined by the viewer. Sound, therefore, plays a very important part in the film, and the limiting visual element leaves the viewer trapped. Nemes explained this, saying, "Sound is there constantly to say much more than the image. It gives the mental image to the audience of the enormity of the context." Another film with a limiting aspect ratio is the French-Canadian film Mummy. The film is an emotional drama about a mother trying to raise her troubled teenage son. No one before had ever shot in the aspect ratio used by Dolan for a feature film. He shot Mummy in 1:1, a perfect square. To fully understand the significance of this, I would recommend watching the film, but as Dolan explains, a major reason for this is to get close to the characters, to avoid widescreen distractions, and to look the characters in the eye. In this character-based film, the connection you establish through this method is truly extraordinary. Dolan describes 1:1 as a humble format, more fitting to these lives we're diving into. Another reason Mummy is shot like this is because, at happier moments in the film, the screen widens. Film critic Peter Bradshaw commented on this, saying, "Both times I've watched this film, I haven't noticed it happening until afterwards." Watch an extract from the scene of the aspect ratio closing once more, and see the emotion that something as simple as aspect ratio can truly display. Xavier Dolan actually complained to Netflix because they altered this. Netflix changed the aspect ratio and maintained it at the same level all through the movie. He was obviously upset, commenting, "Who has bestowed on you the right to revise my choices? And how competently have you pondered the impact of such decisions on my film and the public?" His comments are completely justified. As to Dolan, the aspect ratio of his film is arguably as important as its sound, and it is therefore an insult to the film to deny it its artistic merit. Netflix did apologise for this and remedy their mistake. For the next part of the video, I'm going to talk about two films which also change aspect ratio throughout, one which uses it to tell a story, the other for ease of filmmaking. In Wes Anderson's film, The Grand Budapest Hotel, there are 3 aspect ratios used: 1.851, 2.351, and 1.371. Each is specific to its individual timeline. One is the shape of a book to represent the book others are reading on the Grand Budapest. The widescreen aspect ratio of 2.351 is the aspect ratio of the writer, whose view on the Grand Budapest is far more broad than those reading the book, as he has been there. And the most restricted aspect ratio, 1.371, is present for events in 1933 onwards, the year the Academy ratio was formed. Anderson was intending to film in 1.331 as an ode to the year 1933, but only later found out the cinematographer had been using a slightly wider lens. However, each had a reason, each told a story. Christopher Nolan used 2 aspect ratios in The Dark Knight, the IMAX ultra-wide screen ratio of 1.431 and the standard ratio of 2.351. Why did Nolan do this? Well, honestly, simply because he wanted to film in IMAX, but found IMAX cameras too big and slow to use for the full film, so changed for ease. The Dark Knight is a great film, but the change of aspect ratios throughout does take us out of the movie, as for is no true reason. Aspect ratios are the portal through which we see the film. A good director can tell a story through an aspect ratio, and in an age where film technology allows us to do just about anything, to alter the frame is to change our perspective. And in film, perspective is everything. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I will release a new film essay every week.